Hey guys, Nicole here, aka DVD Collector 96, and welcome to a new video on my YouTube channel. Okay guys, so I hope you have enjoyed all the Lilo and Stitch content that has been uploaded to the channel. You guys have the 4K unboxing, you guys have my experience watching the live action at CMX located at the Dolphin Mall. You have a blog from the first animated movie comparing it kind of thing to the 4K, and then the new Blu Ray that I have right here. But now it's time for a sequel. I love how a lot of people don't even know when movies have sequel. Maybe for Lilo Stitch this is the case for a few people, and if you have never seen the sequel, then the scene on the live action where he's kind of drowning took you by surprise. But let me tell you guys, this is not the very first time that Disney has done that, with the character of Stitch. So guys, as I told you on the previous video, I own for the longest of time as part of my collection this 2-movie collection Blu Ray plus digital of Lilo and Stitch and Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch. So while I was growing up, these were the movies that I would have seen the most, and I have to be honest, from the Lilo and Stitch universe, the one that captivated me the most when I was a little kid and I was growing up was Lilo and Stitch, the TV series. So in the sequence of the main title, this is actually Lilo and Stitch 2. Stitch the movie was kind of a pilot into the series, and Leroy and Stitch was kind of like the ending to the series. Eventually in the future I would like to create a blog from Stitch the movie and also Leroy and Stitch, which is two movies that I also love. But now it's time for me, after I have seen the live action and the original animated, I just want to enjoy the sequel, so we can do kind of like a blog review together. This is a new watching at home because I own it on physical media, and I'm super excited to be revisiting the sequel. I remember that the premise of the sequel, and let's see if the back of this Blu-ray has information. It has. So, for Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, we have the laughter continues as Stitch helps Lilo prepare for a big hula contest, but everything goes haywire when Stitch gets a glitch. Can his Ohana save him in time? Discover why family is the strongest force in the universe in this hysterical sequel. So one of the details that we have to have under consideration is that the sequel is only like an hour and 5 minutes long. And guys, I remember that this sequel was put on in one of these Cuban channels when I was growing up, and I saw it with a friend. We have VHS back then, and I called immediately my grandpa and I'm like, they put in Lilo and Stitch in this channel, can you record it for me? And it was already a movie that was already started, so he started recording like, I want to say like 15 minutes in. So I remember we saw it together, and when it got to the end, I was like destroyed, because we have this moment where we don't know if Stitch is going to make it. So the premise of the sequel for Lilo and Stitch is that something is going on with Stitch, which from the original animated he's already a good person, but now he's having like issues being a good person, and the drawing comes months into play because they start basically putting that now he's getting back to be bad, and people don't know and they don't have an idea of what's going on. So Junge, now living on planet Earth, comes a lot into play because he's the one that's going to be telling us what's going on with him, and he's the one that can find a solution in time to save him. But it all comes down to an emotional ending. And I do feel, and again, the memories that I have from watching it as a little kid, I do feel that I did really enjoy with the sequel. One of the things now as an adult is that movies that holds a special place in your heart, you know, you just love them because of that, but you are able to recognize if it's not a good movie. I know for a fact it's not going to be at the same level of the original. These movies were made as a direct to DVD or VHS sequels, and they didn't have a lot of budget to it. It was just as practice for bigger projects, but I do remember enjoying it a lot, and I cannot give the opportunity to people that doesn't know about the existence of this sequel, just to kind of give you guys excited to basically watching it. So basically you can own it on DVD, and there is a Blu-ray edition on every single 2-movie collection for Lilo and Stitch. The other two are only DVD exclusive. They have never got a Blu-ray release, but this one has a Blu-ray with the original movie. I showed you guys on the other blog that the menu for this one lets you choose the movie, and you can choose from which one do you want to be watching. Today we will be watching Lilo and Stitch 2, and also important to let you guys know, this one doesn't come with any kind of special features. The only special features, and I feel like they were kind of like interactive menus, were on the DVD, which eventually I want to get my hands on it. But anyways, guys, it's Memorial Weekend still for me. I have heard that the live action of Lilo Stitch is doing amazing, but now I'm just going to get to my bed. I'm going to be watching the sequel, and at the end of the vlog, I will give you guys my honest review. We're going to be talking a little bit together about this one. But for now, leave me on the comments if you have ever seen Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, and what do you think about it. So let me go ahead, relax, and play it, and I will be back in a second.
I'm not touching you. You're touching me. Not touching me. It's free air.
Okay guys, so just finished watching the sequel and I again cried. I don't remember, again I keep saying this, but I don't remember Lilo and Stitch being so emotional. Okay, so I have to be honest, as soon as I started watching this sequel, memory starts coming back, like by watching scenes. So I'm pretty sure, I don't remember this a lot, but I'm pretty sure I had it on a VHS, because this one I remember even more scenes about it that I did with the animated, probably because I didn't have it back then when I was a little kid. But I do remember that I saw Lilo and Stitch at least a few times. But anyways guys, this one is only 1 hour and 8 minutes, so it was a super easy watch. You can tell it was a direct-to-video sequel. The animation is good, but not as good as the original. I still loved it, even as an adult. I love when movies give us the opportunity to basically get back into a world with characters that we love to see. This one doesn't take out anything from the first one, it just makes it stronger, and we're seeing now a friendship of just basically two friends now in the future, and things like this can happen to any relationship. So in this sequel, we start by seeing Stitch having nightmares about his arrival to Earth, but being destructive and basically creating chaos. So we get the logo card. The logo card only shows Lilo and Stitch 2, but this one is called Lilo and Stitch 2 Stitch Has a Glitch. So it shows that scene, he's having a nightmare, then Lilo wakes him up, and he basically needs to go to therapy. So she tells him like, hey, you're just afraid of getting bad again, but your level of goodness, let's test it out. So she starts like jumping out of the bed for him to catch her, throws away a book from the window, and he's been doing all the acts that a good person will do. So in the first one, we get to see that they built a room like on a higher top level for them. That's already here. The ship is now at the side of the house, and the house has been fully reconstructed. I love that now they all live together, so Nani is having to adapt to aliens basically living at her house, and Lilo and Stitch creating chaos basically. So the importance of this sequel is that Lilo has a big basically how do you call this, like a big presentation coming from her hula class. So when she gets to the hula class, they start having fun. Stitch is taking now pictures, and then the professor announces that they're going to be having a big event. So all the little girls get reunited, and they start talking about her moms and how Lilo doesn't have a mom, so they make her feel kind of like on the side. And then the teacher decides to show her a picture of her mom and how she won a contest when she was her age. So Lilo gets all like, I want to be my best, I want to have a great idea to have this. And then during a movie night that Nani creates for them to have fun as a family, as they used to do when their parents were around, Stitch starts having glitches and his eyes starts going green. So every single time he has these kind of glitches, he starts doing like bad actions. Now Jumba realizes about this, and then he goes all worried to the spaceship and he turns on a big computer. Now Plicky follows him, and the story behind this is that we get kind of like a before moment when Stitch was created. This is before on the animated one he gets apprehended by the space police. And when he created Stitch, he was just so proud that Stitch was all evil, and he has a red suit from the first one ready for him to use. But he was basically charging his moleculars. So when this didn't charge, he knew something bad will happen in the future, but he wasn't sure what was going to happen. So Stitch is basically living these effects, and if he doesn't get fixed soon, he will die forever. So he's now trying to create things from Earth, because he used alien technology, of course, and he needs things like a toaster, a hair dryer, and he asks Plicky for help. So at this point in the movie, we know as the audience what's going on, but I don't know why he doesn't go to the humans to tell them what's going on with Stitch. So Stitch starts acting up, and Lilo is basically going with him through the Hawaiian island to get ideas by Elvis Presley for the dance that they want to do. And Stitch is doing bad actions at every single place. At the barber shop, at the laundry machine place, and every single place. And then he starts erasing the picture that Lilo has from him and starts to get out the blue thing, which means that it's good. So they finally come out with an idea for the hula dance, and when they're ready to rehearse it, basically, Stitch goes all green and destroys the whole place, so Lilo gets banned from the hula class. Now Lilo has all her trust with Stitch has been broken out, because she just thinks that he's being evil just because. And now they're going to go their separate ways. So now we start seeing the group of two friends fighting each other. So Nani is trying to calm Lilo down and tell her like he's not doing it on purpose. So Stitch goes on his side to start making good actions to basically be good again. So when he goes back to the house, Lilo is still mad at him. So he's trying for her to see that, hey, I'm good again, showing him the picture, but she doesn't want to let him see it, and she just throws away a paper to the side and goes her separate ways. They start fighting each other. It's the famous sequence that I recorded for you guys when he's like, oh, she's touching me, and she's like, I'm not touching. He's like, she's touching me. I love that moment, even though it's a fight. When they're about to make amends and she's going to get the music and he needs to get the disguises, Stitch goes green again, and Lilo basically, that's it. That's the ending point of the relationship. So at this point, Jumba has his machine ready, but he has the computer on the background saying that Stitch it's not fully charged and he's about to basically break down. So Lilo goes to her event, and her big moment is that she's mad at Stitch because she needed his support and he's been acting up. So in the backside, before she gets called up to dance, Stitch basically just tells her like, hey, good luck, I'm sorry about everything. But then she realizes that he's glitching out because he crashes her face, and she knows he wouldn't never do something like that to her. So at this point that she realized that something is going on, Stitch run away. She tries to start the dance, but she can't, because her dance speaks about a millennial friendship. So she runs away for Stitch. She meets up with Jumba and Plicky, and Stitch has taken off the spaceship because he wants to get away off the planet because it's bad, and there is a runaway. The blue car from the first one gets to appear on this one after it was destroyed. So they're driving through the mountains where Stitch is about to go to a desert planet, but before he's able to do so, he has a last breakdown. So he crashes the ship. And when they hit the end of the road, Nani has hidden the kind of like the little spaceship that Jumba gave to Lilo on the first one, and then Lilo can fly all the way to the mountain. So this is the emotional part that made me cry. That's why I'm telling you that on the live action, when we have the undersea scene where he cannot go up, this has something that Disney has already played this card with Stitch. So when Lilo gets to him, he's like, hey, I'm too dangerous for good for you, leave me alone. And she's like, no, you're not. We need to take you to Jumba's machine that now is on the top of the mountain. So she's able to get him to the machine, but when she turns it up, nothing seems to be working out. So Jumba comes in to say that there is nothing that they can do, and Stitch is gone. So we have this musical moment with a kind of sad music on Hawaiian lyrics, and we think that Stitch is definitely gone. But then the machine starts turning up, and Stitch wakes up and be like, hey, I'm all fluffy and I'm okay. But the speech that Lilo gave to him, like, all this time I've been telling you that I needed you, but you needed me the most, and I couldn't see it. So I'm so sorry. I love you. That broke my heart right there. But anyways, when Plickly asks Jumba, like, how is this possible? He's like, it's not, but it's still working. So we have our happy ending. They are now back together and they're doing a hula dance, and then it all goes to the skies and the credits starts to roll up. So again, on the level of the first one, it's like the best movie of all. Like, we all know that. But this sequel, it's a fun sequel to watch. It's only an hour, and it tells us like many things. Like, Nani has a job now, renting surf boards. She's now dating David, and there is this point where David feels that he's kind of left out of her life. So Plickly, that's been reading a lot of gossip magazines from her, starts to basically trying to help him, but nothing seems to be working out. Jumba is basically worried about 626, so we have that paternal side because he was basically the one who created him. Cobra Bubbles is not in this movie. We have the little girls. Myrtle, I never like her. Her dance is all about his dad having a store, and she gives the teacher a card. I love the moment where the teacher goes to Lilo and gives her the picture of her mom. So I love how Ohana is still a big part of this movie. Again, we get to see the relationship of these characters now in the future. The sisters still fight, but then they make amends. And again, it all plays super beautiful. So after this one, I do feel it's safe to say that it goes Stitch the movie, and then the TV show, and then Leroy and Stitch, which I'm planning to be watching next, but those are vlogs that will be coming on the channel like later on in the future. For now that everybody is freaking out about Lilo and Stitch, I decided to take this opportunity to create the vlog about the first one, and then to create the sequel that maybe not a lot of people know it existed. So out of 10, I want to give this one a 7. It's a good sequel, it's a good way to come out to this world, but compared to the first one, it's not even close. But again, Stitch still being Stitch, the voice of the actor is still the same, so he's still on every single project that they have created from Lilo and Stitch, and you have to love that because that gives us continuity. On the special features side, as I told you, the Blu Ray doesn't come with any kind of special features, but the image quality, it's really good, to be honest. Now, I do believe that I checked the DVD case for Stitch has a glitch, and I think even on the original DVD you only get like interactive menus and things like that. I don't remember reading any kind of special features. On the credits of this one, we do have I think that the band was called Jump or something like that, Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride. That's the video clip that I have seen so many times, like on Disney Channel as an ad. I just love that. Again, Lilo and Stitch was really a big part of me growing up, but the TV show for me was like, I remember having a little book of me, like kind of like what Lilo has on the TV show, of me like collecting the experiments and putting pictures and putting the names and whatever they were supposed to do. So yeah, it's been a fun time to revisit this movie, the first one and the sequel. But anyways, guys, that will be all for today's video. Like I always say, I hope you guys are enjoying this new kind of content in the channel. If you are, please let me know in the comments, leave me a like, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel so we can keep this family growing. And see you guys again soon on a new video.